Why did European powers decolonize after World War II? Imagine a world where mighty empires once stretched across continents, but after a devastating war, they began to shrink. That's what happened after World War II. European countries like Britain, France, Belgium, and the Netherlands had built large empires overseas. But the war left them exhausted and broke. Their economies were in ruins, and their armies were too weak to hold onto distant colonies. It simply became too costly to keep these faraway lands under control. At the same time, people living in colonies started to want independence more than ever. Many had fought in the war and saw their contributions ignored. They began to demand self-rule, inspired by ideas of freedom and national identity. Leaders in these regions organized protests, strikes, and sometimes fought wars to gain independence. They believed they had the right to decide their own futures. Internationally, new ideas were gaining ground. The United Nations was created to promote peace and self-determination. The Atlantic Charter, signed during the war by President Franklin Roosevelt of the United States and Prime Minister Winston Churchill of Britain, supported the idea that people should choose their own governments. The Cold War also played a role. The United States and the Soviet Union, the two superpowers, opposed European colonialism because they saw colonies as places to spread their influence. This made it harder for European nations to hold onto their empires. Back home, Europeans were tired of war and hardship. They no longer wanted to spend money and lives fighting to keep colonies that no longer seemed worth it. Public opinion shifted, and governments started to see independence as the best option. Some colonies gained independence peacefully through negotiations, like India and Ghana. Others, like Algeria, fought long and bloody wars before gaining freedom. Decolonization was not the same everywhere. Some countries, like Britain and Belgium, gradually gave up their colonies. Others, like France, faced fierce resistance and conflict. The process changed the world map and marked the end of European dominance in many regions. It was a mix of economic struggles, rising nationalist movements, international pressure, and changing attitudes at home that made decolonization happen after the war.